In Lesson 8 of the Flash tutorial for Flash 1, we need to import some text file information into our action script so that it can be used as data in a source from a call from a button. If you go in and you please open your start lesson from Lesson 8, you should have a window that looks something like this when you finally get to approximately page, oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm about halfway through the project now, and we're somewhere around 300, getting started right around 300, 301, 302 on the book. Our project should look like this. A couple things you should know. One, to get out the actions window, you need to go to, you make sure you're in the Flash, you go to Window, Flash Window, and then bring out the actions. Most of you will find the window looking small. Let me demonstrate like this. Well, the first thing you can do is you can come down and you can put the arrow, so you see the double arrow, and lengthen it out. Over on the left-hand side is part of the what's called the API or library for Flash. This is not needed this time, so you can see there's a little left arrow in between the actual scripting stage and the library. So you can left click on that and it will expand the whole area. Now that we can see more, you'll notice that up here it should look something like this, or we should have where the thumbnails, line 7 should say thumbnails add item, and Obsidian, the rock, the source is thumbnails. This is very important to understand that this is the folder in holding thumbnails folder holding all the JPEGs of the pictures of the rocks, and this folder needs to be located in the same start folder where you are currently saving your work here, your working copy. Notice that data here has just a little dot in between the two double quotes. This is called, this whole thing between double quotes is called a literal string. And it's very important to understand that this is a piece of coding, that anything written inside the double quotes means that the computer can't mess with it unless we give it very special instructions inside the string that it will give it to us. But the first thing I wanted to show you was that up in the right-hand corner here of the actions frame window, on the light gray part of the bar, or the medium gray bar, there's a little down area menu, that drop-down menu you can go to. And the first thing I want you to go to is Preferences. And when you go to the Preferences there, it'll open a new whole area. And in the action script there, you can see that right here we have the fonts and then the font size. I always like to have it at least 16 because I'm an old goat and I can't see very well, even with my glasses. So as you'll notice, what will happen is that that will pop up, and oh my gosh, I can read it much better on the screen. Now, I need you to go back in there again, and one of the things that you'll find under this drop-down menu here is what is called word wrap. Just like in your word processor, when you click on this, it will then start wrapping text that is too long to be seen on one line and roll off. If you scroll down a little further in my example here, you'll see that I have a lot of this, where if I turn it off again, you'll see that it becomes just one long line until the enter key or return key has been hit. Now this is very important to the next part of the lessons, understanding this. First we want word wrap on, and the second thing is that a lot of people don't know, but if you've done enough word processing, you do understand there are what are called hidden characters in here, and embedded and hidden characters. You can go back under here and you can go to the hidden characters and turn them on. You'll notice immediately these kind of heavy double bar black things at the end of the line and everywhere. These are actual every time you've hit the return key. This is a hidden character to let you know that we can turn on and view that the computer knows that you've hit the enter or return key. You'll also notice that there are little black dots in between everything, as you see here between Obsidian, comma, source. That is actually a space bar. If you go back and you turn off the hidden characters again, and you'll see where I have it highlighted, you'll see that it disappears and there's a blank space there where you hit the space bar. So we go back and we turn it back on. Alrighty, the next big part here is that I need to go and I need to open in my folders. So I go to my little thumb drive. Now yours is going to be different, but you'll be able to find it. Go to my lessons. And I open lesson 8. I go to my part 2, lesson 8. There are some problems sometimes with copying the information from the text file. So after I have highlighted the text, I am going to go edit, I'm going to copy it. Or you can right click and copy. And that seems to work best, is to use the right click option. If you don't have right click set up on your Mac, then of course you hold the control key and then hit left click. And that will drop down the menu that will permit you to do this. Now I'll go back into the Flash and my action window is open. I hope so. If it is, I come down here to where I was telling you, in between the data, double quotes, and this time I left click and I paste in the information. Notice, now, there's a problem. The first problem I notice is it's not all in green, and that means that it did not paste in the right place. As you can see, I was trying to paste it between the double quotes here, so I need to go, I'll undo that, and I'll come back up and make sure my cursor is right in between the double quotes. Now I'll paste it in, and now you see it's all green, which means it's in between the double quotes, and this has become a literal string. But because we have the hidden characters on, you'll notice that we have all the return keys showing. And now when I run this program, you'll notice this problem. It's flashing and it's not reading and the program's not working. Well, it's very simple. It's because we have an interrupted literal string. Let me demonstrate how to get rid of this. All we do now is, notice I can expand my actions box so I can get to everything. Remember, you'll notice I see that I have a return key here right in front of the lava. And this is kind of on 7.8. Notice how it's kind of 7.8 return, and all of a sudden you see the number 8. Well, anytime in coding when you see that, it means there is a return key, whether you have the hidden characters on or not. That if all of a sudden it's like indented and you have a couple lines before you get the next line number. So all I do is I hit delete. Oops, wrong delete. So, oops. I come back in front of, I'm on the laptop, so I have to do it a little differently. I have to go down to line 8 and then hit the delete key. Notice how it bounces up, and now it falls under line 7. So I keep doing this in front of all of them, like this, until my paragraph is all on line 7. And all these return keys have disappeared. I've got a couple more to do. Now notice I do not change the one after the double quotes there in the semicolon. Semicolon means end of statement to the computer. It means move on. Now you'll notice that it looks like one nice big paragraph. If I go and I turn off the hidden characters, you'll see that just looks like a paragraph now. Now when I go and test the movie, I usually use a shortcut, but this time I'll go and show you. You can always test the movie by going to Control, Test Movie. Voila, it should work. And if I click on the obsidian, it will now import this correctly. This ends the lesson.